decided to do my service learning at a facility located in Waukesha called Richards Place. Richards Place has been in the city of Waukesha since 1996. It was founded by Corey Fulweiler, which opened the facilities in memory of her friend Richard, who had passed away due to AIDS. There are currently two facilities about 5 minutes away from each other, and in the exterior they both look like regular homes, but in each there's 4 residents that live, so a total of 8. Um, Walking or just driving through the streets, you would never guess that these were homes for HIV positive patients. The purpose of these homes are to provide and assist patients who are HIV positive. These homes are both permanent and temporary depending on the patient's needs. Every morning, the staff makes sure that the residents take their medications, that they're well fed, and that they go to their doctor's appointments. Richards Place also helps some of the residents get back to their feet and seek resources and apartment placements. We learned in some of the readings that the Indians were frowned upon and the settlers called them impure and unclean. I feel like that's how society still feels about HIV positive patients. At first, you feel like HIV is something scary because of all the stigma surrounding it, even to interact with someone who is HIV positive. And it's so easy to judge and come up with stereotypes. Even for me, that I've previously had to take workshops on this disease for my previous employment, I found myself putting up an invisible wall and feeling a bit skeptical. I knew that was wrong, so that's why I chose Richard's Place because I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to learn more. There's nothing to be scared of. I was fairly educated in HIV, so I definitely noticed that actually did not matter when I went to volunteer on my first day because I was still very overly precautious. But as I became comfortable by the second time I volunteered, I realized that if anything, we could be of danger to those who are HIV positive, since they're so sensitive to colds and can easily become ill. I opened up, and ever since then, I realized that I really enjoyed the residents. Volunteering here was such a great experience. I've learned so much about myself and the community we live in. At Richard's Place, we would play many rounds of Unos, laugh, and talk about their life stories, and just listen to anything they wanted to say. It was such a great experience. People automatically judge and think that a person with HIV must be LGTB or a drug user. Some people are not educated on how HIV is spread. I've encountered people who think that HIV is something that only gay men can get. This is where education comes in handy, and why I want to start doing more volunteering with HIV programs to spread the education to prevent HIV spreads in our community. There is not enough awareness regarding HIV and AIDS. HIV is something that is not racist and it does not discriminate. I mentioned before that I would have loved to see how Kara Walker would display her silhouettes if she did one regarding the stigma and stereotype of HIV. I think it would be interesting and it would be a wonderful piece. And it would give a lot of people something to talk about. People need to see what we're doing as a community. We need to put a stop to HIV and at the same time not push those HIV positive patients away from society. Because it's such a sad thing to see people being alienated. And the stigma that is with HIV reminds me a lot of the segregation that blacks had to go through in our community. These HIV positive people have to go through the same thing. They're being segregated, but not because of their skin color, but because of this virus that they have. They have no control over it. So I feel like it is time that we step up and that we start doing some changes and stop being afraid of talking about HIV and stop being afraid about getting tested. That's where we can start.
His health is fading.